And we're on, man. Who's on there smacking? Somebody got gum in their mouth.
Sorry, that was me. It's my retainer.
Just see, every time, man.
Open.
Man, what's going on, man?
Sorry, I thought about it. I needed to pop my liners. I'm so sorry. Okay. So sorry. Sorry.
So, people already know how we start this. You are tuning in another episode, Chopping Over Q podcast. I think we're on time this month, somewhat.
Possibly.
Yeah,
sort of.
I think it is. It's actually funny. Kesey reached out to me and started, almost reprimanding me, talking about, man, what you doing? Why you ain't been recording? And I was like, man, I did drop, a couple weeks ago. And he was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. So,
Hi, Kesey.
Yeah, man. I was like, man, he called me on the father stuff. Now I'm messing with you. What's good, man? Oh, man. But y'all already know what it is. It's myself, Q. V is here with us. And we also have, our political correspondent who is an ex-podcaster, because he's just being bummy. He's worse than me. I thought I was bad at it, but man.
I don't want a permanent temporary hiatus. Hello, everybody. Hi.
Hey, you're just in transition, huh? That's what everybody
Yes, I am. Yes.
What's good, man? What's good up?
Man, quite a few things have been going on. I think actually when we spoke on a pre-show, we were talking about some interesting topics to talk about. One, about the generational divide between millennials, Generation Z, and prior, like X and the boomers. But I think I'm the guest here, so I will take a step back on this.
I'm gonna just mess everybody over with that. They go back to Gen who? I'm messing. Hey, man, the people are smarter than that. I don't even know why I play like that. But V, what's been good with you? I saw you a couple weeks ago. She had me out in the blistering heat of Six Flags. But what's good up, man?
Nothing since I saw you last. Let's see. So Six Flags was a good time. I'm glad that you and the kiddos and Alicia were able to meet us out there for my cousin's son's 8th birthday. So happy belated birthday to Javion. That was interesting. So what I didn't tell you about that trip before you got there, I don't know if I told you this. So my uncle and my aunt, who everybody else in the family refers to as his wife, and not aunt or whatever. Like my mom's like, that's not my sister-in-law. That's just my brother's wife, which is hilarious. But
hey, look, you know what? I do the same. My bad. Shout out to my pop.
So apparently so I didn't get there till Friday night late because it's a 5-hour drive from Midland to Dallas. And, so I didn't get there till late. Well, apparently my mom is calling you back to back and I'm like, what? I'm on my way. I'm trying to use the GPS. I am almost there. What's wrong? She was like, girl, you got to get here. The police are here. I'm thinking somebody got shot at the hotel. And I was like, okay, I don't know if I want to stay there anymore, but sure. Mm-hmm. I was like, so let me figure out what's going on. So I get there, come to find out, apparently my uncle's wife had said some very ugly things to my mother and had called her a bitch. And so my mom, the woman was trying to, so then my aunt or that woman was trying to get back in the car. And, my mom, and to quote her, she says, quote, I launched my 130-pound body at the door and slammed her body in it.
Did she break something?
Nobody broke anything.
Oh, okay.
However, the woman called the police.
Oh, that's so lame.
So then the police showed up, and then they were like, well, did you hit her? And my mom was like, no, I didn't hit her. I closed the car door on her. But I was like, I don't think you're supposed to tell them that. And they were just like, but you didn't touch her. And she was like, no. So they essentially let her go because then, for some odd reason, my aunt told the Dallas PD, she told them, Arlington PD, she told Arlington PD, she was like, I don't even like Texas. Everybody in Texas is stupid anyway.
Oh,
and they were just like, they were like, sir, could you come, please get your wife and just take her back to wherever you live. Could you come get her? Could you come? We're done here. Could you just pack all of this up, whatever car you were getting into when she had got slammed in the door? Can you slam her into the door? Like put her in the seat first, but also slam the door and leave.
First of all, shout outs to Arlington Police for going with those legal nuances. Hey, since you technically didn't touch her, you can't say it's assault.
Yeah, they really were like, well, I mean, and then she's like super big. So then they're like looking at my mom and looking at this like super big linebacker ass built lady. And they're like, so she closed you in the car door? Like everyone was confused.
Wow, hold up. I'm going to be such an asshole. They probably looked at it as like, well, ma'am, the distance of travel is not very great. So there's no way she did any harm to you.
She really was like, what happened? What? It was a lot, but aside from that, it was a good weekend. Everybody enjoyed themselves and had a blast. The children had a blast. They're super scary and don't want to ride anything, but it's okay. We're going to trade them in for some new kids next year.
Hey, that's fine. I got mine. I get to tell you about it, Eric. So, one, my youngest one is a daredevil. It's funny because I would tell everybody I will ride most rides, except for rides where you have me dangling on a string, or you're just picking me up and dropping me. Hey, kiss my whole ass. I'll accept that one. That's fine. But so the youngest one, she wanted to ride Superman, which is the equivalent of a dungeon drop, terror, with the Tower of Terror, etc. All those ones where they just pick you up and drop you. My whole fear is this, and it's probably just irrational, but I'm like, hey, what happens if they drop it and the brakes don't engage in time? How does it work? Like, you know,
which is awful because it's funny because he said that and I was like, oh my God, me too. So we're like two of the most rational people in the world, but have an irrational fear of being dropped on like the Superman ride. And it's the only one in the park where we're like, nah, G, I'm not interested.
And I'd totally be into that. Totally into it.
Oh man. But the funniest story is we almost saw a disaster happen too. There was one lady and she looked like she was either young or a teenager, whichever one. And she was just having a rough day. And due to that, she almost sent like a whole, like about 3 people to their death. So we go get in line to get on Mr. Freeze.
Yes.
And first of all, it was a decent wait. And so we're waiting, and all of a sudden, like second to last, you know, we were about to be like the next people to get on. And the people who are in the car, all of a sudden, their safety harness, like about 3 or 4 of them, their safety harnesses like pop up. And they're looking around confused, like, hey, I don't think that's supposed to happen. So they you know, you may pull it down to see if it locks back in place and it pops back up.
Is this like the Kevin Hart skit where he said, like, I ain't got no click? I ain't got no click. Is that kind of what it was?
That's it. Like, I swear, I promise the way I saw it, and I could be wrong, but you could correct it. So everyone, like, people on there, and it's funny because they did like the whole, I hate to pick on white people, but you know, hey, excuse me, hi, hey, yes, you ma'am, hey, excuse me, this ain't working, but it's so soft like, because I guess it's, you know, something, just because they're talking, you gotta listen. And I swear, the young lady, she was like, and I promise she was about to push the button. until, like, all of us in the line are looking like, hey, yo, we like yell it out, she looks up slowly, like, hey, that stuff ain't working. Tell me why she get an attitude, like goes running over there. Everybody get out of it. It's like, God damn, okay. But it was so funny because I was like, man, she was about to murder everybody and not care. She was about to go to lunch.
Yeah, it was wild. Like well, I think part of it was a language barrier. And so I think like maybe her English was not as good. So I don't know if maybe like she just kind of was not focused. And so then like these people are yelling at her like, hey, and she's not really registering that they're talking to her. Because then I like snap and wave and I'm like, hey, they're trying to get your attention. They're not latched in. Because the little white lady, like, sis was being very meek and polite when it came to her life. And I was like, girl, so you were just going to sit there and talk in a whisper?
Yeah. She was like,
you were just going to, excuse me. And like, she's looking around and like, you can see her eyes getting like as big as like round as teacup saucers. And it's getting bigger and bigger. And she's like freaking out thinking this lady's going to push the button and like launch her into the goddamn stratosphere. But she's not speaking any louder. And I was just like, I don't know where your sense of urgency is here, sis.
Hey.
Like, you want to die today or you want to go home?
Look, I swear, the whole time I was thinking if she would have pushed that button, her was like, oh no.
Even better, she'd have been like the whole time launching air, like, excuse me. And you would not fucking hear it.
Sorry, I hit you. So sorry.
Oh, man. Man, it was hilarious, though, because I was like, man, it was either that, or look, you gotta pay some people to care, I guess. Like, because, first of all, a lot of us who were younger, especially those from around the Houston area, had Astroworld. And I remember for the longest, I wanted to work at Astroworld during the summer. Until I really thought about it.
Now.
Yeah, until I thought about it, and I was like, wait, I'm gonna just be out there in the heat. I'm good. I don't want to do that.
I don't know. Astroworld never came to mind as a place I would ever want to work. I always thought I wanted to be like, I don't know, a lawyer or something crazy like a doctor or something like that. Something that always would make money.
I'm not talking about for a full career. You think I was going to be come on, Eric. I was going to be yeah, man. I was going to be a roller coaster operator.
Look, the way a lot of these people are talking like you should be thinking about your career path. Quinn, you should be thinking about your career path. V, you should be thinking about your career path. Here at Six Flags. You could be a manager one day, just like everybody else.
Yeah, man. What was that in Coming to America, which they're making a sequel for some reason. But was it Louis Anderson's character talking about, yeah, man, 10 years from now I'll be on Fries. And then another 10 it's like, what? another 5 I'll make assistant manager. And that's when the big bucks roll in. It's like, oh my.
I mean, and honestly, all it reminds me is when they used to have those McDonald's commercials where it would be where it'd be like some teenagers started working there and they would show her evolving and moving up through the chain of command and eventually working in corporate. And I was like, I don't believe for a second that anybody working in McDonald's corporate started out fucking making McDonald's. Like, please stop it. Stop it right now.
They lied to us with Calvin. Everybody remember Calvin.
So maybe like in the maybe if you started working as a teenager in like 1960 before people gave a fuck if you went to college to like have a job or whatever. Like maybe, but nobody could start working at McDonald's right now.
Are you telling me you can't go work at McDonald's right now as a cash register and eventually in 10 years own your own store? Are you telling me that they're lying to us?
Well, considering that I don't think those people make enough I don't even think they make a living wage. Like, how are you going to save up enough money to buy a franchise?
No. You're getting a living wage. You're just not living properly.
Oh, my God.
You just got to redirect your funds.
Okay, Hotep, Quentin, Barbie. All right.
Oh, my God.
Right, Hotep. Hotep, Quentin, action figure. Relax.
But we've actually looked up the cost of starting a franchise, and that shit is no fucking joke. That shit is
I think McDonald's
fucking mad expensive.
I think McDonald's you had to have $500,000 in the bank. It was
either
$500,000 or $1 million in the bank in cash.
Nah, that sounds like more like Little Caesars criteria, and Little Caesars was even expensive to even try to open that up. And we got plenty of Little Caesars around here.
Yeah, I think the cheapest franchise to start was 7-Eleven. I think you could get one for like $30,000 or something like that. But then who got $30,000 just to give away?
I mean,
I
guess
the idea is that you're not giving it away, but
I'm just saying, think about it. Like, if someone, it's fun, it was really an eye opener when we started looking at houses and the way that people were talking. It's like, yeah, man, you just got to have 20% down of the house, and you're like, yeah, you do realize it's like $50,000, depending on the home, especially out here. And I'm like, who just got that just ready at the ready? Oh, $50,000? Yeah, man, ain't nothing. Let me go grab that real quick.
People sometimes have that amount. I don't know who the people are. But yeah, I mean, but I think it's one of those things where you really have to, either you have to have fantastic credit or, and then maybe you can have substantially less stashed away. But I mean, you'll hear a lot of people say, well, I'm trying to get a loan for a house, so they really don't want to make any big purchases. They want to make sure that everything's being paid on time. They really are trying to lower their debt to income ratio because it's no joke. It's serious business. And considering the way that they were just giving out home loans left and right in 2008, I think that they're just being very conservative and they don't want to give anybody a loan. So,
hey, sound like I just need to find the right friends. I'm going to have to trade y'all in for somebody who got like a bunch of ears in the bank, and hopefully they just feel generous.
See, look, we have a bunch of, like, in the gay community, we have some applications for sugar daddy, so, you know.
I was like, yeah, be somebody's sugar baby.
Look, if they got some gay dude that just want to hang out with me, and he willing to pay for my friend, you know what? Let's do it.
Hey, man, look, he gonna at least need to get a feel. It's in the contract.
Can I do that?
You know what? We can't talk about that on this.
I'm not gonna lie to you because I just keep thinking there are days when I'm just like, my God, I am poor and I just really could become a cam model. I just want to know where these niggas are that are paying for feet pics and wanting bitches to show them the backs of their goddamn like elbows for $100. Like, where are these? How come I'm not meeting them?
Baby, the further you go down gay Twitter, it's like, and going through the threads, it's like, you guys really pay for feet? It's like, join my OnlyFans, and it's like, that's $10 a month. You're cute, but
yeah, that's
you.
Hey, look, I put like this, man. Look, people got their different quirks, different things that set them off, but I'm not paying for no foot pics, dog. Like,
yeah, but I've always wondered, like, what are they like? How do you make the jump to OnlyFans, right? Like, is this one of those things where it's like, oh, I'm cute enough. Maybe people would like watch me have sex with myself or with the person. Like, I don't know. Like, how do you make that jump to, you know what? I could do that.
I don't know. I'm gonna do it. Screw it. I'm just make something where I'm just sitting around shirtless talking about random shit. I don't know. Maybe that's when I talk about politics.
I think that would probably be mine too. That was we think alike. That was my thought too. I'm just gonna sit around shirtless and just talk about stuff.
Yeah, why not? So kind of like how people play games like Let's Plays talking politics. Quentin, you're gonna like having sex talking politics.
Hey, it is what it is.
He's gonna have sex, and I'm just gonna sit there with. On my channel, I'm going to sit there with my bra off and then discuss, like, quilting. Like, it's going to be the most mundane, boring shit, but there'll be titties. So.
Yeah, man. Giving back shots, talking about economic diversity.
It'll be great.
I'm so conflicted right now.
Like, I want to tune in, but not.
Like, damn, V gets such good coverage, but what the fuck? I'm so conflicted.
Oh, man. I don't know. Well, and one day, maybe I'll make it big. I'll have something to say, you know, something to my name.
It's a weird experience because, like, there have been, like, so many people on, like, gay Twitter that I have followed for a long time, and, like, their characters, I say characters because I'm talking about social media, will, like, transform, and I've, like, a lot of people who I follow would, like, cover politics, and they'll transform into, like, pop culture. And then, like, I've seen, like, one day where it's like, oh, follow my OnlyFans. And I'm like, oh, that's a fucking shift.
Yeah, man.
From, like, the 2-3 years that I've known you.
Yeah, man, get that private Snapchat. All it costs is $5. That's it.
You actually were the first one that told me about that. I didn't think that was a thing. But
I found out.
Yeah, I was very confused about how private Snapchat was.
I didn't. I was like, because here's my confusion. And, I mean, I get it. You know, there's a lot of people who, they batting record ain't so great. So they got to get it how they can. But people really just pay to watch a video? Like, last time I checked, that's free online. You just got to do the right Google search.
Now remember, you got to support your local businesses. You know, you got to support homegrown U.S. businesses.
You're right. So, don't go with the corporation of Pornhub. Go to your local vendors on social media. That's right.
Yeah, homegrown Americans, not imports.
It's true. I mean, and I'm sitting here thinking, because, okay, I'm not going to say this girl's name, because she has an OnlyFans, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm being shitty, because she seems like, wait. Okay.
Someone we know?
No, you don't know. We don't know her personally. Yeah, but she, I used to follow her on Twitter, and basically it was just cute because she was like this kind of like 20-something girl mix, but she was, she's really, really pretty girl, and she, had a military, I guess it wasn't her husband, but I guess he was her boyfriend. They'd been together a long time, and they had this cute story about meeting in the Navy. Both of them were enlisted, and they have a son, and she has a stepdaughter, and they were just kind of had this like cute little family, and she'd always tweet about it. And then she had started like a foundation, or she wanted to kind of start a foundation for survivors of sexual assault and sexual abuse, because she was a survivor of child sexual abuse. So yeah, it was just, she was cute. She'd always have like these little cute stories or whatever, pictures of, like videos of her kid, blah, 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 or whatever. And it was, again, like that slow transition. It went from it being that type of stuff. And then her and the guy broke up and everything fell apart. She was having to get restraining orders. And then it was videos of her turning up, shaking her ass in the camera. And the next thing you know, it was like, watch me fuck myself with my dildo on OnlyFans. And we were like,
all right.
Okay, girl. And in my mind, I'm like, I don't know, sis. I guess I could do that, but also, could you just maybe show me some more pictures of your kids' Paw Patrol room, because that was kind of dope.
Yeah. Yeah. Did she go like, yeah, sure, I'll do it in there.
I was like, I was like that. I mean, it's cool that you're tweeting the links to your OnlyFans, but I really just kind of wanted to see that mural that you put on the baby's wall, because I thought it was cool. I don't know. Could you maybe post a recipe video again? That was cool.
She gotta make money, man. That's how it goes, man. It's all about the clicks and stuff. So,
but like in like the Twitter sphere, like I've seen like a lot of people actually like dive into the reasons why like they bond on OnlyFans, because it's like, very similar to the drug game a little bit. It's easily accessible money,
right?
And for some people, it's like the only source of income that they have. Like there was one guy who was like, one gay dude, like well over a year ago, like me and him got into it like really, really bad. And it's like one of the weird things, like you get into a heated political argument with somebody, and then for some fucking reason y'all come out and y'all like, oh man, you're a fucking cool ass guy. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? You're pretty cool too. I'm a follow. Alright. And then like, a little while later, he starts his OnlyFans, and I'm like, I'm not playing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not. I feel like you, but it's kind of like, is this, and I'll criticize Bernie Sanders for this, because I don't think, there's been some rhetoric that he's used where I don't necessarily think that he is an advocate for sex workers' rights. I wanted to get your views on that.
I mean, me personally, look, it's a reason why it's called the oldest profession. I mean, if you can get it while the getting's good, and here's my thing. I think if it were legal, you can place more regulations around it, which then you have a lot more protections around it. What I will say is that when it comes to a lot of stuff like that, drugs, so on and so forth, when it becomes illegal, you create a criminal underground for it. So if someone is assaulted, you can't really go like, yeah, I was out here trying to sell this Long Johnson, and dude knocked me over the head for my for my plug that day. You can't really go to the police and say that. So you kind of just gotta let it ride.
Well, I look at it as, right, I do not understand why there is an issue with decriminalizing that and putting protections in place for sex workers, because I look at it as really the only difference between that and porn is a camera, right? Like, so basically what we're saying is that it's okay for you to have sex for money as long as somebody's there to film it and then you distribute it to other people.
I think
God forbid that you don't, film it first.
Honestly, so I think because there's no way to tax it. I mean, I boil that to a lot of things. Like, there's no way to officially tax it well. At least with the porn industry, you get some form of, I guess you could say, some form of paper trail. To where,
but I mean, but it's the same with anything, right? Because look at it. Like, if you're an independent contractor, and like if I want to decide, like, I make hair bows and quilts and whatever the fuck. So if I decide I want to go in business for myself and just start selling this shit as a side job, I'm an independent contractor. It's technically I own my own business, but if I don't pay any taxes or anything like that, the IRS is never going to know, right? But they're also not going to tell everybody, and they're not also if I call the police, I can also still report that someone stole all of my products and my hair bows. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to be like, oh shit, girl, well, you should have been reporting your income to the IRS, so now you can't file a report. So, I mean, I think it's one of those things where we're splitting hairs, right? Like, you should be able to find a way, because if you work in the porn industry, these people obviously are making money, but they're being taxed. They're having to go get drug tests. And so I think if you regulate it and tell people, well, you know, hey, if you're going to be a sex worker, all of these things have to be the case. And then if they're not, then at this point it becomes illegal and we're going to come shut down your operation. It does make it to where you're able to tax that income and make money from it. That's what I'm saying. It literally is a situation where it's the difference between a camera being on and not being on. So if you regulate it in the same ways that you're regulating porn, or in some, or take that type of template, I do not see why it can't be. Because I do feel like there should be protections in place for these people, because I do not feel, because you are hard up for money and are having sex for money, that means that for some reason somebody punches you in the eye socket and doesn't pay you, that you should be afraid to go to the police, or you should be afraid to report that, or people should make you feel othered or less than for that. There should be protections in place, because those people are still people. Yeah, they're still Americans. They're still people that law should apply to.
Hey, I feel that. And I agree, but I don't know. I don't really know what's the reasoning behind it. I don't know if it's just one of those whole taboo things, just like marijuana. You know, everybody still think, oh, it's a gateway to everything, even though there's no data to prove it. They still say it's a horrible drug, even though there's no deaths associated with it. Only it. So I got to put that out there. Now, if you got something and it was laced with something else, that's a whole other subject. But
oh my God, that's like that time that dude tried to offer me a hit of his primo.
I don't know what you're putting in, like, man.
No, but it's crack. That's what you put in it. So it's a primo. But
now we good.
What you call it when you put the crack, when you sprinkle a little crack on the top, it's primo.
Right, it's like people who used to smoke stuff with dipped in embalming fluid, which I'm like, why the fuck?
Oh yeah,
why the hell would you want to do that?
Oh, that stuff smells horrible. Oh, it smells so bad. Yeah. Oh my God!
Yeah, like, it smelled like a dead body. Yeah, you're right.
Oh my God! I can remember a dude, like when that shit first kind of started hitting the streets, and you'd see people like, "Hannah, you know what was wrong with them?" They're like, "Oh, they're on that dip, they're on wet." I watched a dude hump a jukebox, come out of all of his clothing, and then lay out in the middle of a street in front of a bar in nothing but his fucking Timberlands. Like, he had taken everything off.
See, and as a sex worker, you would have protection. You just have to charge that jukebox.
Okay, all right. Okay.
I don't know, Eric. What do you say? You know, he's the one that wanted to be the career politician. So yeah, Representative Davila, if you were given the opportunity, how would you write out a bill?
Are you talking about for sex workers' rights? Because like, that would be a politically suicidal act.
That's fine. We all about taking risk.
I mean, kind of like reparations. I mean, reparations poll in like the mid-20s. I was sort of amorphous or agnostic when it came to that particular issue, and I kind of came around to like, okay, we probably need to really have this serious conversation on what form reparations would actually take, and none of this nonsense about like I support legislations to like do research, though I do support that. But sex workers, there's many issues as to why something like that isn't really a thing in the U.S. I mean, we have a whole history of like right-wing fundamentalists, and some mix of some conservative, people on the Democrat. I don't want to make this like a really partisan issue or whatever. Plus some of it is also contributed to, a taxation issue as well. And it's also partially kind of a taboo kind of topic. I mean, we just got not too long ago, what was it, like 2-3 months ago? Mm-hmm. Houston had prevented the opening of, what did they consider it?
You're talking about the robot shop.
Yeah, Android sex brothel or whatever.
Yeah. Get out here and smash Rosie.
Yeah. Which like, most of the people that I was around was like totally against it. And I wasn't against it, but I was like, how would that work? Because
I mean, I'm not against it. My whole thing is, of course, here's this irrational fear again. What happens if I'm doing my thing and there's a malfunction or a failure of any type?
I just felt like the whole place would be sticky, and that's really why.
Too. Like, how do you clean it out? How do you clean it inside of a robot? Like, is that really sanitary?
They're self-cleaning.
I think you take it apart, and like a self-cleaning oven, right? Self-cleaning sex robots, like that's probably horrible. Like I don't trust my oven to do that. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely am not about to.
I mean,
trust a robot.
I mean, I look at it like this, even though it's easier to manage, but that's like you allowing someone to borrow your lightsaber. Oh yeah, girl, you need to pop one off here. Go just use that. Exactly.
But like considering my background, I grew up in an environment that had sort of a disdain or this condescending attitude towards people in the sex industry, and I don't know, from my interactions with people growing up, I began to realize that a lot of people are not just there, because like they're inherently evil people or whatever, but like
you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, for some people, it's like it has to be done. It's the way things are. And I mean, even if like to get into that conversation of whether or not they like it to do it or not, that's not my position to like tell you what you can and cannot do. Now, I don't know about dating somebody in that field.
That's a whole other discussion. It's all about.
I might have to think about that one.
I mean, it would be tough for me. I won't lie. I don't like sharing like that. But hey, or at least openly sharing. I would say that.
I'll have to think about it. I'll leave it at that. So, but I do support it. So I do. I'll say that much. I'll support the idea of sex workers' rights.
I mean, I would ask this, and I know it's not exactly a 1-to-1, but what would be the difference of if you go out with someone and just so happens afterwards y'all get it in and then never speak to each other ever again? I'm just saying, like, so it's really no harm to anyone.
Fair enough.
Or if we link up on Tinder for the sole purpose of getting in with one another, what's the difference?
I guess there isn't any.
No. I guess I can only assume it's the exchange of money, and that's why I said it's mostly a taxation issue that I'm assuming so, because how do you document that? And how can we go after these people if we do need, you ain't allowed to make no money here without us getting our cut. So how can we go after some people if there's no paper trail? That is also another reason why I'll say drugs are mostly illegal. Not because they care about people, it's just how do we get our money?
That was the most weirdest experience I had the first time when a guy on Grindr one time was like, I had tried to have sex with me for, I forget how much he wanted. It's like, this is a thing. Huh. Okay. $30. No.
Ew. $30, that's all you was worth.
Ew. Ew. Like, I'm disgusted for you. $30. $30?
You mean to tell me his experience with you?
Oh my God.
A date to Cheddar's.
So he's gross and cheap?
I passed. I was like, no.
Gross and cheap. I hate it.
Like, damn, man, you can't even go to Cheesecake Factory with just that much? God damn.
I mean, I guess Ben Shapiro and them would like it for like, free market.
Oh,
would you compete? Oh God, I don't like that.
How do you negotiate that? Nah, I won't give you. I don't think you're worth 100. I give you 75.
That's almost dehumanizing of the story.
I guess that would be a question. Like, how do you set the market? Is there a market value on the amount like that you're willing to pay?
I don't know. You set the price, and we'll see if the market is responsive to it.
I think that's what you have to do.
Yeah. So V, what would you do? Dude, be like, yeah, man, we can kick it, but $150 for an hour.
Mm-hmm. He's going to give me $150, or I'm going to give him $150?
No, he's charging $150 per hour.
I'm gonna repeat the thing that I said on Twitter yesterday. Niggas will fuck a warm McChicken. Do you think that I'm going to pay $150 to hang out with any of them? Oh my God, you have lost your fucking. Did you hit your head before we started this?
Wait,
Are you all right?
That's mostly true. You forgot to add the extra part. He would
Are
do
you
it depending on how long the drought has been. See,
No, they do it. No, they do it when they haven't had a drought, honey. What are you talking about?
It depends because you got some dudes, if they know they batting 100, they like, nah,
The
man.
point is, I'm not paying $150 to sleep with any goddamn body. Because the bar, honestly, for a lot of these men is in hell. Do you think I would pay to spend an hour with one?
I mean,
sir?
honestly, the bar is
Sir.
like...
The bar is in hell. It's below hell, honestly. Like, Satan's looking for it. He doesn't know. It's been misplaced. No one knows.
Yeah.
So no, the idea that I would give some man $150 for him to have the pleasure of my company for an hour is laughable.
That is, you know what? That is actually funny. Because I think the only men that really do have standards are gay men for the most part.
Exactly. The rest of you will fuck a McChicken. Like, I did not lie. Like a Krispy Kreme donut.
Look, the rest of us,
Krispy Kreme donut, a mildly warmed kolache leftover that was on the breakfast table at work for 3 days. Like, y'all really aren't choosy.
No, not
so really. The fact that I would need to pay for some man's company just doesn't, it does not compute. That 404 error. Like, the page cannot be found. Like, that doesn't exist.
I will also add this. A man who has the right amount of financial backing may have some better standards. That's about it. But everybody on down, hey man, it's a free for all.
That's a high price escort right there. 150. Is it per hour or is that a flat rate?
Hey man,
I think that's per hour.
See, you lucky. Backpage. We can go do some research on this.
I let somebody pay for me for $150 an hour.
Nah, man, I got 500.
Oh, well, no, I mean, I'm not gonna pay anybody. Is the point? Like, if he wants to give me $150 to come watch true crime documentaries on Hulu for an hour, then absolutely. Like, right. He is welcome to come have a seat on the bed and knock himself out. But the part where I pay him $150 to really come do anything is out of the question, unless he plans on coming, to put up some shelves or something. Like, is he gonna come do work or?
All right, here will be the question then for both y'all. What would be if someone were to offer, what would be your offer point? Like, start off with someone say they want to offer you money for your services.
Well, what services? Like, can I just come over there and, like, make them laugh and, like, make some hot wings or something? Like, what do I need to go? What do I need to come do?
I don't know. I guess, okay, it would be based on what are you willing to do? Like, they want some kind of act done. So what's the lowest you'll do?
I agree to let them pull their penis out and maybe put it on my knee for $150 an hour. Maybe.
Oh man, I don't know, man. Because nowadays you might get a dude.
I have to see it first, so I feel like I have to let you pull it out and at least let me look at it and examine it for 30 minutes first.
Yeah, they got to get surveyed first.
Yeah, and then after I feel, kind of confident, like maybe I'll touch it.
I don't know, man. Nowadays,
and then we'll see how it goes from there.
I don't know, man. Nowadays dudes will be like, man, let me just rub it between your toes or something like that. Man, dudes. Either way they can get it.
Well, if he just wants a foot job, then absolutely, $150 an hour is fine. Like $200. Actually, you know what? $200 flat rate foot job. Got it.
Look, you can't come on me. You can come on the floor.
Right? Like,
wait, Eric. That's taken away, man. The money shot is the most important part of the experience.
You go to hell with that shit.
On my feet though, look, I think I would let them. So $150 if you just want me to, give you the footy, but the footsie. But if you want to come on my feet, then that's the extra $75.
That's upsell.
It's an upsell. I'm a businesswoman if I am not anything else.
Oh man. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. If I could get away with it, and if it's not considered cheating, I'm gonna just go. I'll go around and just give him real sensual massage. Because for some reason, ladies are paying dudes just to rub up on them with oil and shit. And I'm like, hey, you know what? If y'all willing to pay per hour for that, I ain't got to do nothing. Cool.
No, but see, I feel like that's going the way of like the paint and sips now, where they get naked at the paint and sips.
I have seen that.
And niggas be putting their dicks on your forehead when all you trying to do is paint a rainbow or whatever.
Let's keep it real, man. Women are freaks when they're unsupervised and they get in groups. Anything can happen. That's like that whole dancing bear stuff.
I mean, and here's the thing, like, I get that, and I'm not good, but if I ever attend a situation where we're supposed to be painting and sipping wine, and then all of a sudden some men run out wearing nothing but sneakers and a towel, and it turns into a trip to the male strip club, I am gonna get new friends. I was like, I didn't sign up for this. Like, I didn't sign up for this, sis. Like, I didn't come here. I came here to drink wine and eat some cheese that didn't come out of singles wraps and some grapes and possibly make a fairly bad painting that I can take to work and put on the easel and say that I did something this weekend, girl. Like, you were ratcheting it up to a level that I'm not trying to put it at. I did not come here to sip wine and try to make paintings while some nigga has his balls on my fucking forehead. Did nobody come for that?
That's just called motivation. See, how dare you? How dare you?
I've never been motivated by anything in my goddamn life that required a man to put his balls on my forehead.
See, look, no fun. Taking all these. See, if I can't put my sack on somebody's forehead, then what's the
point? You can, but it's never motivated me to do anything.
Hey, just let it sit there. We could.
That's horrible. That's awful. Hey, girl, come here. I just want to show my love to you by sitting my nutsack on your forehead. I love you so much.
Yeah,
love
exactly.
You. Gross.
Eric, you see anything wrong with that statement?
Yeah, actually I do, because like if somebody put their balls on my face, like completely underneath it, I'm biting one of them motherfuckers. I swear to God. It's like it's fucking over.
Yeah, it's like, okay, all right. Well, that's enough of this for the evening. Thanks. You can go home.
See, look. Y'all just doing everything.
I'm gonna stop you right there. Put your balls up. All right. Good night. Thank you. Tuck your balls in. Tuck your balls back in your waistband.
Police officers, though, it's like
Lorena Bobbitt cut a man's whole dick off, so I really feel like anything that I say that's underneath that is fine.
No. Any pain to the area that's off limits. I don't know, but then again, you got some dudes who they like that shit.
And if any of the people that listen to this show like it and want to pay me, to maybe punch you in the balls or something like that, or step on your balls and maybe some nice high heel shoes or something to that effect. Listen, I just please DM me with your concerns or needs, and we can work out a rate for that. Thanks.
I have heard of strange things where dudes do pay for that, or they pay for a really really super buff woman to like wrestle them. Or to like put them in a headlock with their thighs or something. I'm just saying,
I don't know.
Man.
I might be into like a hot guy like trying to wrestle me. It just depends. If he has like a military ass, and I'd be into that.
Honestly, I'd kind of be into it too.
Yeah.
I could be into watching that, sure. I would watch some military ass guy wrestle Eric.
That would be funny. I'm taking.
I'm
just taking. I'm taking bets. I'm like, you got to wrestle back though, Eric. We got to make money off this.
No, he doesn't. Just let him put you in some sexually suggestive holes. It's fine. Yeah.
Oh man,
we'll set it to some very calming, smooth jazz. Some light, soft rock. Light some candles around you guys and have the candlelight bathing your oiled bodies. I feel like we can make plenty of money. Me, myself.
You trying to see, we're going to have Eric coming out all hot and bothered talking about, I got to try that again. How much was that again?
Listen, when I get done giving him his cut after we set up this OnlyFans account, he's gonna be like, so same time next week? Yeah, absolutely. New guy. We'll get an Air Force one this time. Marines? Rangers? Green Beret? Okay, yeah, I'll have him.
after we're done with this scene, I'm gonna be like, yeah, we need to break away because now we're gonna have the real thing happen. I'll let him have a free one.
Yeah, and I want you to have a sample. First one's always free.
It's a buy one get one free.
My God.
Oh man, that's terrible. Excuse me. Oh man, but
I
guess we should talk about something mildly serious now that we've shot the ship.
All right, fine, I guess. All right, y'all.
Don't have to, but
I mean, it is something to be aware of, though. So, of course, we had our two incidents in El Paso and Dayton, Ohio. Condolences to all the people, the survivors, victims, and the relatives of those who were affected in any way. But that actually itself, I think, Eric, I brought that question up to you before too, and of course, you always get on the talk of gun violence and gun regulations and things like that, and I think everyone's excuse was, well, if we do that, it's not going to stop criminals, or hey, why are we going to punish the good people, and so on and so forth. And I think I posed one question to you, and I was like, okay, well, if that's what we're going to go with, I was like, Eric, seatbelts technically don't save everybody in a crash, so that means we should just remove them, correct? I mean, I think that's reasonable based on the logic. Or, hey, airbags sometimes harm people. We should just get rid of them shits too. And hey, you know what? Do your thing, everybody. We don't need to punish the good drivers for those who can't drive properly.
I mean, it's completely asinine. And Donald Trump actually tried on multiple attempts to actually go visit El Paso, and none of the victims of the shooting are trying to have absolutely none of it.
They don't want nothing to do with him because he can be a contributor to why that potential situation occurred.
Well, I think that, and he tries to turn it into a photo op, and then these people haven't even buried their loved ones. Some of them are still trying to figure out, if their loved ones are okay, and you're tweeting that this needs to be packaged with immigration reform to get it passed, and I'm very confused here. So you got on Twitter to tell us that, hey, I'm so sorry that some maniac came and killed a bunch of Americans, but also, if you want me to do anything about it, then we need to totally pass my immigration laws too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, man, we need that wall. See, if we had the wall up there, wait, no, shit, he was white. Fuck, my bad.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and also they're invading our country, because you got to remember, the guy who was involved in the shooting co-opted the same language that you would hear out of the Fox News people like Tommy Lauren and Donald Trump even himself. They're coming over and they're invading our land.
Yeah, even though we gasted the shit from Mexico prior, but we don't talk about that part of history. That's that's an appendix. But I mean, it's just interesting because I don't know what to tell people anymore. Because it's after a while, you're like, look, we can do what Australia's done. We can do what other countries have done and make it a little bit more. I ain't gonna say complicated, but add a little bit more to the process of obtaining one, which can benefit. But then it's that whole idea that, well, if you do that, it's not gonna stop at all. I was like, no shit. It's illegal to steal, but are we gonna now make larceny legal? Since people don't follow it all the time.
I think a lot of times when these incidents come up, there's always issues of mental health, and a lot of Republicans like to hide behind, well, it's not the gun, it's the person, so do something about the person, even though the Trump administration is constantly deregulating and not doing anything to help the situation around mental health. I mean, mental health issues are not necessarily something that you can just get free of charge or whatever, like in a country like Canada, for example. So,
yeah, for the most part, and maybe I'm incorrect. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. As far as I know, it's. I think certain insurances, you're allowed to go see a counselor or anything like that. But I'm not sure if it's really known to a lot of people that you can use your insurance. And then honestly, a lot of counselors don't accept insurance.
Well, I mean that, and a lot of people's insurance are not paying for that. Like, that's not a staple of most people's insurance. That's when you have good insurance. That's when you have really good insurance. Because a lot of people don't have really good insurance. They have okay insurance that they're still having to pay outrageous deductibles and meet copay minimums and pay out of pocket to even go to the doctor for like the smallest things. So mental health, or even if their insurance covered it, the cost is probably something that would be prohibitive, because you have to look at it as, am I going to preference this above being able to go to the dentist or go to the doctor or get my medications? And a lot of times it essentially is a choice for most people. It's not inexpensive.
And that's part of the conversation that's slightly disingenuous for some people who, like, a friend of mine who, he's a friend, but I have some issues where he likes to frame everything as a choice. It's like, well, if you don't like the insurance company, you have a choice. It's like, it's not a fucking choice. You can't really just choose between being able to afford your insurance or whatever an insurance is actually choosing to cover and what it isn't. My company in particular that I work for, FedEx, yes, I just fucking said it out loud. So that's probably, the alarms are probably going to be ringing. Have changed the terms around my health coverage, actually last year. And that's not like a unique phenomenon. That's like a thing that companies do. They go from plan to plan, and sometimes networks change as a consequence of that. So the same things that people harp on when it comes to like UK, Australia, or Canadian systems about like losing access to your doctor can also happen. Well, I mean, first of all, they don't happen under those systems, but those things do happen when you're under a private healthcare provider. Is when they change the networks, then maybe you keep your doctor, maybe you lose your doctor. I don't fucking know. But I think what I was getting at was, is there a point to where like we should now engage with white supremacists? Like, is there a point to where, like, I know like a lot of people like to disengage with them. There are, however, some people out there who subscribe to some of the arguments, but are not necessarily racist, but they subscribe to reasons that lead to racist things happening. I think I told Quentin about this a while ago, that a friend of mine believes in the idea of America first when it comes to immigration, and he has his reasoning is that we should prioritize America's taxpayer money and services towards us. So he doesn't care about the immigrants.
But that never even happens now in the current model. Like,
exactly.
When's the last time that a bill or law was passed that benefited the regular people?
Very rare.
People will probably say Obamacare, but the corporations were actually able to help assist in writing that to get it passed. So,
I mean, and I always think it's interesting when people say that, right? And they're like, oh, people send money to other places to help with aid, and we need to be worried about the people here. But it's like, the people that you have voted into power are not concerned with the people here. Like, you do realize that, right? Like, we're saying all these things and having this kind of, I guess what you would, or what we would historically call, this kind of centrist idea of kind of like, I guess, America first. But it's just like, why would you, it's, the people here are not putting America first. So it is very hard for us to sit here and harp on this when in reality, that's not what happens regardless. Like, and then, then they'll swear, oh, well, we shouldn't give these people anything. They just want handouts. They don't want to go to work. So it's like, okay, so what exactly are you saying? America first, let's preference the people, but not the poor people, not you, not you need something. No, not you. Like, it's, so who exactly are they? Is it just the poor white people, or?
No, they don't get shit either. Hey, talk to
I'm like, who exactly is it for? I'm just trying to figure it out.
Hey, honestly, man, talk to them folks in the Midwest and ask them how cold going right now. Oh God. or those people in where all those car manufacturers. What was that, Cleveland? Was that Cleveland? where they had one of those car plants that Don T claimed they were going to bring more jobs back, and he gave them money, and then they dipped on them. I'm just saying. So, what you about to say, Eric?
Well, are there circumstances that lead to the radicalization of people into becoming white supremacists? And like, how do you de-radicalize people depending on like at what stage that they're at? And like, is either of your positions that we should engage with these people? Because I still firmly think that there are some people out there who might be salvageable. You know, it's similar to what I went through as a member of the LGBT community, because not all my friends were like even gay friendly or gay allies. And then eventually as time came on, they came around to it. So I wonder, not to give them a pass on some of the stuff they might do or some of the stuff that they might think, but is there something we should do to like reach out to them to like de-radicalize them and get them back on the right path?
Wait, Eric, you're getting now. But
whatever.
What?
I don't know. Gasker. We were just talking about military asses and shit.
and now we circle back like, wait a minute, wait.
I thought those was just jokes, which is what someone would say who don't know better. But here's what I would say. Yes, people can be frustrating. You know, we have this thing where people would rather rely on their feelings of a matter versus what can be proven with data, numbers, science, etc. And I mean, it's understandable because, kind of like all those philosophy videos I seen y'all, is like, sometimes people always feel no matter what, their feelings are always trustworthy versus the information that's provided to them. But I would say that you should always still try to engage with these people, because I think what happens is kind of going with the whole Dante effect. In my opinion, how he got elected and how a lot of people like that get elected is they go with the what's the term, a populist approach. So you feed into people's fears and their wants and desires, and you got folks struggling out here. So if people are struggling, they'll hear anything you got to say if they think it's going to make their circumstances better. So if you say, hey, it's them folks over there is the reason you ain't got jobs, not us because we snatching all the money from you, but it's them. They going to say, oh, well, we need to get them so we can get us back on the right track. Mm-hmm. So that's what I see in a lot. And then, of course, you just got people who are just evil bastards, but I think that's kind of the minority. At least I'm hoping so.
This will be a head scratcher for you, Ms. B. Hey, we could leave it up to like something to think about. It's probably kind of a curveball, one of those situations where like I used to be of the mind of like, fuck them motherfuckers,
which is always fun.
I mean, but there's something to be said for that, right? Like, we've been trying that, just being like, F it, these people aren't worth trying to engage. They aren't worth this, they aren't worth that. But they got this way somehow, right? So if we are able to have conversations that undo this train of thinking and neutralize some of this rhetoric and these ideas that these people have, then isn't it in some ways our responsibility to do so? Or are we supposed to just kind of be like, fuck it, and just be like, well, hope you don't shoot somebody in 12 years? Like,
and that's the problem, because no matter how much you want to kind of put it in the back of your mind to never exist, think of it as a bad relationship. Regardless of how often you tell yourself, man, it'll get better, I'm just not going to worry about it, I'm not going to do it. And then eventually something will happen, because you cannot not engage with them because you're a part of it. As much as we hate it, we live here. So regardless of if they're going to affect you in some way or manner, because they are still intertwined in the society that we are in. So in that case, you kind of got to do what you can to kind of make it better. I mean, you can't save everybody, but there are some people you can kind of, it's been shown that some people do change their minds with more information.
Yeah, so I think sometimes are these shooters maybe in a place where there's maybe not any going back Probably. I think once you kind of have it in your mind that you're going to get in your car and drive what amounts essentially to a full work shift to go shoot some people, like, I think you kind of are over the tipping point, right? But I do think that if caught early enough, and maybe this is not the rhetoric, or somebody notices that all of your Facebook searches and groups involve white supremacy, and you buy, 100-round drums of ammunition, and yelling white power from your bedroom window to your other friends, or, blinking it in SOS with flashlights at each other. Like, I think there's some room for intervention there. I think there's a very long spectrum between I clicked on some hateful rhetoric on Reddit and let me go shoot up a school or shoot up a Walmart. So I feel like obviously the signs a lot of times go unnoticed.
Are you telling me that they didn't buy all that information to go hunt Bigfoot?
I'm sorry, what is it?
Yeah, you're telling me they didn't buy all that ammunition to go hunt Bigfoot?
No, it's to kill wild boars.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like weasel hunting.
It's to kill 40 to 50 wild boars that come into your backyard and with your small children every 3 to 5 minutes.
Hey, that makes sense.
Oh my God, are you talking about that? Oh
yeah.
I did not. I kept like, why is this trending and where the fuck is this coming from?
It was basically essentially a Twitter thread where somebody was talking about gun control, and somebody's just like, random question, and let me ask the other gun people, how else are you supposed, like, they were asking like why, automatic weapons, you can buy so much in like large amounts of ammunition or whatever, and like, why would you need to be able to do that? Well, how else are you supposed to kill 40 to 50 wild hogs that run into your backyard where your children are playing every 3 to 5 minutes? And everybody was like, what?
Where are you living where you have these many? What?
And then it's like, is it 30? Well, I think it's 20 to 50. But it's like, is it 20? Or is it 50? Do they all show up at once? Are they coming in waves? Is it like a flash mob?
Is this an invasion? Are the boars like this our territory?
Flash mob of boars. Like, I've never heard of anything like it in my life.
Hey, look, I've lived in the country. Beaumont is as country as it gets, in my opinion. It gets a little bit more country, but still. And Lufkin is, right there with it.
Very true.
I've never seen 20 wild boars at once.
Just running into your backyard. Like, they're not like.
And if you have that many running at you, it's just time to leave. It's their spot. Just let them have the house.
Wait, but then you think about how many 20 would be. And then he said also 250. So he wasn't sure about the amount, as in there have been times where half of 100 hogs were running through his backyard stampede style. I don't understand.
Okay, maybe he missed it. Okay, so the animals in Lion King were wildebeest. They're not native to the U.S. So I'm thinking that's what you saw stampeding. Maybe you're just getting in a random flashback of a film.
It's just very crazy. Bless his heart. Whoever you are, sir, you gave us hours of entertainment because they talked bad about you.
You gotta give it
honey, you have lived in Twitter infamy for that because nobody knew what you were talking about, and we still don't. And I salute you for that. You disarmed a whole conversation about gun control, yelling about wild boars and your children in your backyard. Okay, sir.
Oh wow! I guess he live in the super wilderness. Like, he's in the elements. Wow.
I don't know. I kind of like those people in Florida where the land crabs, the blue crabs that are like the land ones or whatever, just kind of run around and invade everything, and they're like all in the streets and all over the sidewalk and stuff right now. So maybe it's like that, but with boars.
Yeah, it's a terrible situation. I don't know.
Well, I don't understand why those people are not putting them in pots and having a goddamn feast, but that's neither here nor there.
Hey, look, he got more. Never mind. I'm not even gonna make that reference, but never mind.
I would not be having problems with like they got all these land crabs. I would not have any of those problems. Anything that was in my yard would be in a bag. I'd be shoving them into a bag and sticking them bad boys in the freezer. We'd be having a good old time.
I don't know. That I don't have any words for that one. he gave us one in that case.
Once again, that was a hit. It's like that was a hit, sir.
Oh man, but I mean, it's a reality, man. Look, if the numbers are correct by the feedback that I've gathered, we are one of the very few, if not the main one of what you would call a civilized nation or whatever that's dealing with this problem because there's either a blatant refusal or some lack of understanding of how to address the issue. Is that fair? Is that fair picking on my words? I don't want to make it seem like we're deliberately not doing anything. At least we're hoping that, but hey, you never know.
I think that's a fair assessment, yes.
Okay. So it's just one of those things where you gotta figure out a way to actually really look into the issue and what can be done. And I mean, look, it's going to require some sacrifices in some cases. Not saying that you can't have your stuff, but there needs to be some rational thought on, okay, yeah, I know we can have it, but do I need that in particular? Does someone need to get one as easy as you can? I mean, like I said, I can go get one, and I think it's 48-hour waiting period, 24, something like that, and you can go pick up your handgun, no issues. They don't know where my mental state is. They don't know if I choked out my wife last week. If somebody owe me money, of course nobody will know that, but still, you know. But there's no real in-depth look into a person's current state to determine this may not be the right opportunity for them to get it. And even if the wait period was a little bit longer for you to cool off, you know, maybe that would even help.
What irritated me about it was that the House actually passed two bills. Actually, one of them was actually a background check bill. And Mitch McConnell, our majority leader of the Republicans in the Senate, had basically shelved them. And poor little Mitch, I believe he fractured his shoulder.
Oh yeah, I seen that. He tripped in the shower.
He deserves.
So, I'm messing. I don't know what happened.
He was home written, and there was a debate going on Twitter on is it basically ethical to like start protests literally at his house when the poor little guy was just like in his house, defenseless. He can't like move around. You know, he fractured his poor little shoulder.
Oh, poor little
and it's
pink.
And you know, it's just like, oh my God, like. It's like what happened to the civility in our country or whatever? You're just like targeting these poor people. I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I think that they should definitely go over there. You know, don't you know, try to attack him or get into his house, but maybe just make enough noise to startle him, and hopefully he'll fall and fracture the other shoulder.
Hey, I'm with it. I would say
perhaps break his pelvis. I don't know. Wishful thinking here. Just throwing some ideas out. You know, maybe bring some, you know, some foghorns, whatever you feel like would make the most noise. You know, maybe wait till you think he's dozed off in front of the television and just, you know, you know, just a little light something. You know, we don't want to kill him or anything. We just, you know, want him to fall down really hard.
I would say
very inconvenient.
Yeah, inconvenience him like a mug. I would say if you could get a permit to throw a block party.
Oh, you mean like with our VP, yes. Mr. Mike Pence, when they threw a gay party in front of his
block party? Yo, we finna fire off guns. We finna do everything, and then all of a sudden, then you gonna be like, man, we don't need guns no more.
Well, I mean, I think what it is that all the black people need to show up with their guns.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Or the white people can show up with their guns, but they need to just bring all of their pets and shoot them.
What the hell? I mean, I would say,
listen, if we're trying to get gun control legislation passed, white people are going to have to start shooting their dogs in the face. That's really the only way these white people are going to care. Like, they're going to have to start shooting. They're going to have to start shooting. They're going to have to start shooting Sonny the parakeet, man. I sure hate it for the bird, but they're going to have to start shooting their goddamn parakeets in the face.
Hey, I'm just saying, you know,
and maybe we'll get something fucking done. I'm just saying.
Everybody still cries when old Yellow got to go. I'm just saying.
I was just thinking like she was talking like some random ass pet. Like you just got a puppy from the animal shelter. I'm just gonna bring him to go shoot him in the face. Like, what? Don't do that. That's horrible.
I'm just saying, somebody's, that white man went and shot up a bunch of babies at an elementary school. And they were just like, fuck those kids.
Hey, man.
So at that point, you should have known that it was going to take some drastic shit. So basically, every black person in America that can get a gun is going to have to go get 12 of those bitches. Don't get one, get 12 and get some shit that you also can get like 100-round drum for. And then I want you to walk around with the bitch straight. Everybody got to walk around with a strap to their back. And then the white people have to show up and threaten to shoot their dogs in the face. And then I think once they realize the pet murder and the fact that the niggers have guns, then they'll be ready to pass the legislation.
Technically, it's happening. That happened in California back in the day with the Black Panthers.
Historically, anytime a bunch of niggas get guns, then they start making gun legislation. Yeah. So I'm just saying that's what it's gonna take.
Now it's a problem.
Is that these niggers got rifles? Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Then there'll be some shit. So maybe that's what we got to do. But then again, nowadays they'll probably just shoot us all. They'll drop the third atomic bomb and then be like, well, they had guns. We were afraid for our lives.
I mean, it would technically be true then. Oh man. All right, we're going to closing remarks. E, what's your final thoughts on that? What do you say we do? And also, yeah, we'll get to that after. So yeah, final thoughts. Yeah.
I think like what I wanted to close with is just like a thought. It's something that we didn't really have time to get to. But I think like we need to like have a serious conversation about like what would society look like over the next several decades. And what essentially I'm getting at is a specific example I'm using in my company that I'm experiencing. There were warnings solicited by our superiors, and there was actually a meeting that was had where some of the processes in our company is going to be automated away. And a lot of the responses to like how this is going to affect underemployment and current employment opportunities or even future potential for employment opportunities have been lackluster. They haven't made any remarks about that. There's been a lot of like, oh, there's nothing going to happen, but you literally see it in front of your face that it's actually happening. There's a lot of identifying when it comes to the boomers, previous generations prior to the millennials and Generation Z, of success and our goals in life attributed to what our success is at work. And now you have an overwhelming transitional shift to millennials not really giving a fuck about work like that and just like treating it like it's a job or whatever. But with the ever growing issue of automation and what it would bring and the lack of jobs that will eventually come, and I estimate that there's going to be a lot of situations that's happening in my industry, in the transportation industry. There's already smaller companies that are testing out autonomous vehicles. What would society look like? Where are we going to keep the model of capitalism going to serve out its very end? Or are we going to transform society into something actually a little bit different? And we're going to have a society where a lot of people are not going to work, or maybe we're not going to have a society that works at all. And like, that's something that I'm thinking about with like these new ideas, like universal basic income. And as far as the fight for higher wages. And I think like there are good stop measures for what's happening right now, but I don't necessarily think they're addressing the future implications of what these issues are going to bring long term. So it's something to think about.
Okay. V, you want to add comment on that, or you?
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts and comment. I mean, I can comment on that. I mean, I'll make it.
Well, I'll let you comment. How about that?
Okay. No, I mean, I think it's just eventually, of course, me being a sci-fi guy, I doubt it happens because we haven't created that type of technology. But eventually, you just kind of take something like Star Trek. For all those people who ever watched it, their society was not built on monetary value. So now, of course, eventually, how people are and how we associate, we do, no matter what, we'll try to separate ourselves through any kind of means. So even if there is no such thing as money, we'll just find another way to separate ourselves or to categorize ourselves and so on and so forth. I think that's just a human nature thing. But I do think that eventually, we're got to kind of see how does automation and technology not only improve our lives, but how does it negatively affect it as well, and what are the measures that we're going to take in order to prevent that or to advance our society along with the technology. Now, overall, final thoughts, and V, I'll let you close, is just that, there's a lot of things we need to make. Kind of we move from sex workers to how our job's going to end up. So it's just one of those things where a lot of people you just got to be kind of aware of what's going on around us and how our world is shifting and changing. Just like how we want to change societal views of certain things, we also have to look at other things beyond that as well. How does our world going to look like in the next 10 years, or hell, when my kids get of age, what is the world going to look like? I know we thought we would have flying cars and self-lacing shoes, but we ain't got there yet. But you never know. Just things to kind of be aware of, especially me as a parent. I think about that type of stuff. I know I'm lame. It's whatever. But, so yeah, that's just my main thing. V, you want to close it out? What you got?
The world is a very, depressing, sad, disgusting place. And really the best that we can do is try to stay as informed as we can about as many things as we can. Also, maybe go vote. I'm just going to bring that as, I know this is early, but obviously the Democrats are parading, people out like they're fucking collecting Pokemon. I don't know what that's about. There's a lot of you motherfuckers, so I really am not keeping you. So I'm not saying go vote for Squirtle per se. I'm just saying maybe, really try to do your homework this time around, and let's really pick a candidate that has a fair shot at getting that sentient carrot out of the White House. And for those of you who just felt like not voting was a thing, also please take your asses to go vote. And then also quit writing things onto the ballot that don't have anything to do with the ballot. I appreciate that you feel like you're being very witty or cute or intelligent, but you're just really fucking stupid. So bless your poor stupid fucking heart and vote for an actual candidate this year. Thank you so fucking much.
Are you saying that Harambe winning one, getting a few votes was not? I ain't gonna lie.
I'm saying that it's not just one. It just wasn't Harambe. They just voted for all kinds of shit. So when you sum all of those stupid fucking people up together for all the stupid goddamn things they voted for, then it's like, okay, well, obviously there's a problem here. I'm not gonna take this opportunity to discuss the 50-something% of you white women that clearly have lost y'all's goddamn minds, like to vote against your best interests. We'll save that for another day. Just remember that I know who you are, and now I got to side out all my white friends. So remember, y'all like to tell us everything about yourselves except for who you voted for, and now we know why.
Yeah, them voting for him, and all of a sudden now they got these anti-abortion bills out there. Y'all was the main ones wanting to get rid of these white babies. Ooh, my bad.
Oh my God.
All right. Woo! Okay. Time to go down the dusty trail. Quentin.
Uh-huh.
Quentin, where can my people find you? What are your socials, dude?
Oh man, I'm getting flagged.
Woo!
That's all good. Yes, I am at
Tell the people they can find
_great. I am on Twitter. If you want to talk about that, we can. The stats don't lie. I'm sorry, but
talk to him. Don't talk to me.
And then you can also hit me up on Facebook, Quentin Simpson, and I am on Instagram as well. But I don't think does anybody even talk on Instagram? I don't think that's the purpose of it, but
I mean, I do sometimes, but like I DM a lot of cute guys, and then I'll talk politics publicly. It's my public face and my private face.
All right, Eric, go ahead. For those DMs,
can find you.
Just you can just find me on Twitter at It's Super Eric, and do not forward me any questions. Forward all of my questions to my colleague, Mr. Quentin, and he'll filter them down to me or to Miss V. If you're talking about like military butt sex, then I'm totally into that. Like
that's gonna be a new genre. We gotta make that category on Pornhub.
I think it's ours for the taking. I think it's open for us.
We'll set up those appointments.
Yeah, we got it coming soon.
All right, and V.
People can find me at VJ_Burton on Twitter. It is the same on IG. I have a Facebook. If you know my first and last name, I guess go there. If not, don't worry about it, because I won't, actually look at your friend request or accept it for several months, because I don't really use Facebook. Snapchat is MeekB. Again, as I always like to gently remind you, please do not send me your penis. Thank you so much.
Yes, make her pay for it, y'all. Know your worth.
Is that like really a thing, like an epidemic that you deal with?
Yeah, very seriously. Like, I think people think that I'm just like being facetious or like laughing or like kidding about it, but very seriously, like there's probably 3 times a week where there's just a random penis from somebody that's added me, because maybe they listened to the show or picked up one of my social handles from somewhere else, and then it's literally their dick in my Snapchat. Like, not anything else, just their dick. Like, hey, how you doing? Good morning. And it's like, are you fucking serious?
That's a weird hello.
Yes, it's a goddamn lot. So I'm just saying, please quit sending me your dick. Thank you so much. Show has a Twitter. Show's Twitter is at choppingitup_pod. So you can always tweet us there. I'm going to try and tweet from the show's Twitter more so that you guys can interact with us. But really, seriously, if you have anything that you need to say about the show, totally just talk to Quentin.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because it's his fault. So talk.
I know it is. Everything. I figured that out. That's why I got married. But no, I'll apologize. Right? And I'll also apologize. That was a joke, but it's just the reality that people need to actually think about what you do to see if you're actually going against your better interests. But now let's leave it with that. I like to thank Eric.
Okay. Yes, I was gonna say thank Eric.
Yeah, I guess and he came through. But
oh man,
he knows. It's not like I can like hide from him. He knows like everywhere I am at. So
yeah, like okay, I'll leave with this. Like every time he goes somewhere, I get a alert back talking about, hey, how did you enjoy such and such? Like, I wasn't there.
My God. Yeah.
Well, we want to thank Eric for being on the show. It is always a delight to have him on here to keep Quentin on his toes. So I certainly appreciate the help in that arena.
Here we go. The abuse, man. But nah.
No one has abused kids.
But nah, man, I appreciate both y'all, man. Y'all made this actually fun to do. So other than that, also appreciate everyone who does listen. Appreciate the people who do share. And yeah, all these things that we talked about. Hey, start the convo. Let us know what your thoughts are. We way off base. Hey, hit me up and we can talk about it. I'm good with
Talk about it. Hit the show's Twitter. Hit our Twitters. DM us. We like to hear from you. Tell us how you like the show. Rate, review, subscribe anywhere that you listen to podcasts. I do not think we've asked you to do that in quite some time. So if you could, tell a friend, share us with your friends. Maybe, not your work friends, because I don't know if you can listen to it at work. Listen, do
appropriate. Yeah,
well,
listen with no headphones.
Okay, do what you got to do. Yeah, totally. Turn it up very, very loud when boss walks by. We're not responsible if you lose your job, just FYI.
As long as HR is not at our location, like basically anything could be talked about. Dicks, asses, maybe politics. Not a safe space, depending on what it is.
Wait, we can talk about.
Oh, I love dicks. What happened?
We can talk about knocking boots, but damn it, you better tell me who you represent.
I mean, I mean, that's white people in a nutshell.
Yeah.
I want to tell you about how, I think that's it. I feel like I wanted,
No, it reminded me of a Dave Chappelle joke. I think it was Killing the Software. He was talking to a guy like, hey man, so who you voting for? Hey, Dave, stop being personal. But anyways, I was fucking my wife in the ass. I was fucking my ass in the ass, yeah.
That's actually just our workplace. That's really in a nutshell.
Oh my goodness.
That is hilarious.
Oh man. Man, we have to do this again though.
We should. Leave the people with something positive and nice, Quentin. Look at you. Well, you know what? I will leave the people with something positive and nice. And so my words of advice for you this week is do not look back unless it's to throw that ass. There you go. Boom.
I can live with it. Oh, man. Hey, man, other than that, we had fun here. Hope you did as well. But other than that, we up out.
Later. Bye.